getting ready to put the step back in now. And in my last video I posed the question, how much of this back panel should I remove? And I got the answer from Joe Sousa again. He has the best advice. But basically he says, you know, you leave as much of the existing as you can. If it's still good, don't cut it out. And I kind of like that philosophy. I've been trying to stick with it. I've been stuck with it pretty good with the 47 actually. And there's no reason why I shouldn't continue that today with the 56 here. So what I'd like to do is cut the back of this off. This is the patch panel, leaving about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch running across here. So I'll cut this across here. I'll cut off these two returns, and then I'll slip it into the panel here, and then that will give me a line to follow across here. And now as I reach back here, there's a bracket here. I'm not going to put the camera under there and flip it upside down because you'll get dizzy. But there's a bracket here, and I want to stay under it. And I want to mess with it. It's in good shape. When I get the cab done, I'm going to flip it up onto the firewall and clean off the bottom of it really well with the wire wheel and chemicals and whatever else I can do to support it. So the next move is to make those cuts, and I was getting ready to start it, and I figured before I even do that, I want to clean this up, clean all the rust off of here, get some kind of something going on here. I want to grind that smooth, and then I'm looking over here and I'm like, while I got the grinder out, I might as well do this patch piece at this point in time. But then again, the welder's not out until I make these cuts. So right now I'm going to get the grinder out and clean these up and get it ready to go. Just as a side note, Joe mentioned in the comments the bad Bondo job on the cab corner on the other side. I'm on the driver's side. I just want to show him this. This is Bondo in the hinge pocket. There was more in there. I chipped it out. And this is the Bondo job on the other hinge pocket. I mean on the other cab corner. But I got to show you, this is the worst or the best, depending on how you look at it. This is the fender. I don't know if you got enough light to see that. They just packed that in there from the other side to cover, you know, to take care of all this rust on the structural piece. Then you come to this side. Now it's all, you can see it's all cracking, you know, after years of whatever, but it was never a good job to begin with. They just sprayed right over it. And that's what bad Bondo looks like. And, you know, I haven't gotten into these fenders yet, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. Getting back to what I'm doing, I'm cleaning up this edge here, and it must have rotted away. It must have got some moisture back there or something, and that bubbled out. So this front piece is gone in just this little area. So what I'm considering doing is making a cut straight up and then over, and making the inverse notch on the new piece. So it would be new from here, then all across the bottom, maybe 3/4 of an inch up. But this would be a new piece. And just, you know, patch that in, and that would expose this. There's a return. This piece turns 90 and holds this in, and it's spot welded down this line. So if I cut it here and here, I can clean up the flange similar to this and just tack it in with you know, some puddle welds. So that's kind of my thinking there, is to just cut that out and clean that up from behind there. This side's fine, so I'm going to keep all this. Cleaning this up. Notice they did a lot of bronze or brass, well, what do they call it? Brazing. That's brazing. And I believe this piece here is part of the patch panel, so it's got to come out. And then the backing piece behind it. Maybe I should do that first, is patch this hole and this hole before I put the patch panel in. So I maybe should get my cutter out, you know, take this out before I go any further. If I get too far down the road, I'm kind of looking at the fit up here. and I'm observing this here. You see, this doesn't quite make it. So you got to wonder if the B-pillar, which is this, needs to come forward, or I need to stretch the rocker panel. Now, right now the rocker fits nice and tight. I can't move it left to right. If I cut these flanges off, then it should slide. So I'll figure it out. I started cutting this away. I used the vibrating saw, or the oscillating saw, for this cut right here on the top. Use the wheel right here. Leave the flange behind. You see there's the factory flange behind there. There's probably a spot weld here, here, and here. I'm going to try to peel off as much as I can and then grind off the rest to make this clean as clean as I can get it as the bottom flange. So I'll have a back flange, a bottom flange. I can land the new piece on that. Just going to try to show you what I'm doing with the with one hand. I'm just picking away the pliers, just pulling that piece off. There it goes. See it? And there's a spot weld right there. And I try to get it from the top. I'm going to pull it out a little further, so I got to pick if I can get it out a little. Let me shut the camera off. Use two hands. One thing I wasn't really sure about was the detail here. So I just shoved this in till it overlapped with this. And this went back a little further. But I don't know how that rocker is going to line up with the door until I put the door on. So I'm waiting for my hinge kit to come in, finish up the doors. Eventually I think I'm going to make the cut this height and then trace it. But until then, I don't know if I should take a break. I'll probably take a lunch break right now because I'm kind of stuck. Same thing back here. This has got to push in so I'm not in front of the cab corner. I started cutting away the cab corner just so I can kind of see how it lines up. You see there's still a piece of the rocker still attached. Okay, Monday morning, back at it again. 3 car shows this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Got a trophy Friday night, and we got another one on Sunday. Struck out on Saturday. Well, you know what? Saturday was a weird show. They didn't hand out the trophies till like 5 p.m. and by then everybody had left. I left at like 4:30, and they were still talking about trophies, and I was like, you know what? I'm not hanging around for this. Anyways, super hot today. We're on a heat warning, but I want to talk to you about, I was watching Glenn at Redneck Coachworks, and he put me onto his video. He did the exact same work here, and he replaced the entire step. And I'm counting up spot welds and see what it's going to take out this piece, because there's spot welds here. I can feel them. I can't see them, but I know they're there. Here, across here. But once that piece is out, it might be a lot easier to put that single piece back in and keep these factory bends here and here, as opposed to trying to make a weld the entire length of this. And we all know what my welds look like. So I'm thinking that might be the way to go. And I'm assessing it now. I've taken the sander and I'm counting up spot welds. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply that by 2, probably 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So another half a dozen there. Whatever's behind here. That's a lot of spot welds to remove, but it can be done. And what my other reasoning is, in watching Glenn's video, is behind there, the spot welds, there's rust. And the only way to treat that rust is to take this panel out. So as much as I hate to do it, I think I'm going to go for it and try to remove this panel. Now to do it, I might just cut with the zip saw the wheel, here and here. And that'll get me so I can kind of feel for those spot welds a little more. But that's enough talking. Time to get to work, because I'm already sweating my butt off here. I'm already soaked. My hands are soaked. My face is soaked. And I don't even know what the temperature is. It feels like 90, and it's only like 10:30 in the morning. Well, good thing I went back and I watched that video again. There's a brace back here. I'm feeling for it with my left hand. I want to make sure when I cut this out, I'm going to cut around it. So I'm going to cut. I wish I had one of those white chalk markers. Oh wait, I do. Let me go get that. Well, I drew my cut lines in, and I tell you, I'm really hesitant to do this because I'm afraid I'm gonna screw up or something. It just scares me to cut away that much metal, but I think it needs to be done. It's the right way to do it, and I'm gonna put this on time lapse and just go for it. Well, I made the cuts. Still hanging on by the spot welds here. And what I'll do is I'll cut this off and then start trying to drill these welds and spot welds and hit them with a chisel, which is the way Glenn did them. And then I gotta work out this piece here. And then right here is this ugly weld that's brazing actually. So I'll grind that out. And hopefully be able to get all this out and put that other piece in after I treat the rust, of course, which was the main reason why I want to take this out, is to treat the rust on all the inside flanges, because if you're just going to leave it there, it's just going to keep rusting from the inside out. So it might look good for a year or two, but who knows after that. I don't know. I just figure I want to do this the right way. So here I am. So look at all that brass that I just ground out of there. And then I opened up this hole here. Looks like a mud dauber nest, which are not indicative of this neck of the woods, I don't think. So maybe that's a Kansas mud dauber, but all that's got to get cleaned up and resprayed before I put this back on. So if I had just left that there, it would have stayed there. If I had left this piece intact, which I'm still thinking I should have done, but I don't know. I'll get it. Looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 8 spot welds I gotta grind through and pop this off. So I'm gonna go for that. Maybe we'll get the drill and see if I can just punch through them and get that done. This is by no means going as easy as I thought it would. I have a nice sharp drill bit. I drilled all the way through over here. I've got this one broken loose. This one's still hanging on by a thread. Now, Glenn was using a wood chisel. I don't have a wood chisel that I can sacrifice. I'm just using a regular metal chisel. It's pretty sharp, but it is what it is. Well, definitely making progress. Nothing here this one came right off. There's something in here. This was a double tap up here, so I just broke around it. And I'm just cutting away with the saw the zip wheel, abrasive wheel, what I don't need. Gives me more room to work. So I'll start prying up on the bottom here. That one looks like it's loose. I'll have this off soon enough. There it is, done. A lot of those welds barely held. But now I'm going over to here. I started peeling this up, just looking for the next spot weld, because I really can't see where they are. I can kind of feel them a little bit. But maybe I'll hit those with the start drill first, then the 5/16 drill. Just trying to get it loose. Got to come all the way across here. That ain't gonna be fun. And then there, and then I can clean up the rust. I mean, look at that frame. Wow, look at it. Man, Glenn made that look so easy, but it really fought me in here. Had to find these welds. That's the hardest part.
break the. I got these two. If I can get the chisel under there, I think it'll start to come out. I had to grind through some of the brass that's left over here. I'm gonna probably try to take the chisel and go that way, and break that brazing. Then I'm gonna work my way back on all these spot welds here. But I'm out of breath, believe it or not. That's because it's so hot. I probably should need to go in and rehydrate. So let me go take a break and come back. Well, got most of it out. This little piece here is all that's left. I can't see any of the spot welds, but I'm exhausted. It's so hot out here. Put a blister in my hand. That's with gloves on. That's from squeezing the pliers, I believe, and flexing to break the welds. But, alright. I'm out of breath. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.